Oh, so well, it seems like the Indo farm equipment IPO is closing today, right?
Yeah, that's right. It's the final day, and it's been quite a buzz, actually.
I heard something about a gray market premium. What exactly does that mean for an IPO like this?
Okay, so think of it like this. The gray market premium, or GMP, is basically the unofficial price at which the IPO shares are being traded before they're officially listed on the stock exchange. So it kind of shows what people are willing to pay for it before it hits the market.
So it's a good way to gauge, potential interest and demand.
Exactly. It's like a sneak peek into how the stock might perform on listing day. And in this case, it seems to suggest a positive listing, which is quite promising.
Right. I heard the GMP is around 96 rupees.
Yes, and with the IPO price set at 215 rupees, that means the expected listing price is around 311 rupees, showing a potential 45% gain per share.
Wow, that's a substantial increase, definitely something investors would be looking at.
Indeed, and it also means that the demand is quite high, and actually it's been oversubscribed by a huge margin.
Oversubscribed? Like how much exactly?
Well, the latest figures indicate that it's oversubscribed by almost 227 times. So, I mean, it shows a lot of interest from different types of investors.
That's a lot, So what's causing this huge interest, do you think?
Well, a few things, I guess. The company is in the tractor and crane manufacturing space, which is doing well, and they have a good track record. Plus, they have a plan to expand their operations. All this makes it an attractive option.
They're also diversifying into other equipment like harvesters, right?
Yeah, that's right. While their main focus is on tractors and cranes, they also manufacture other related equipment. It adds to the business diversification and strengthens their market position, actually.
Okay, so besides the GMP, what else should investors consider before jumping in?
Well, it's always important to look at the company's financials, their debt, growth plans, and the risks involved. Kind of like checking all the boxes before a big decision.
Right, makes sense. So what does their financial performance look like?
They have shown consistent growth over the past few years, and their operating profit margins are around 16.5%, which is quite good, But of course, past performance isn't always an indicator for the future.
Right. And what about the expansion plan that you mentioned?
So they're setting up a new manufacturing unit for pick and carry cranes, and will also be investing more in their NBFC subsidiary, Parota Finance. And this will help finance their tractor sales.
That makes sense. So they're leveraging their financing arm to help their main business, kind of like having their own in-house bank.
Exactly. It's like having a support system for their sales and allows them to reach a broader customer base. So it helps.
Okay, so are there any risks involved?
Yeah, there are a few. Like they rely heavily on sales of tractors and cranes. So any downturn in demand will affect them. And also they are dependent on few states for a major chunk of their sales.
Right. So kind of like putting all your eggs in a few baskets.
Precisely. So it's important to be aware of these risks before investing, kind of like understanding the potential bumps on the road.
So basically, it's a good opportunity with potential, but also has certain risks.
Yeah, that's a fair summary, actually. And it is important to remember that while IPOs are tempting, it is not a sure, short way to get rich. There is always risk involved.
Right. I guess investors need to weigh these factors carefully before making their move.
Totally. Doing your own research and understanding your own risk appetite is very important. This isn't just about the hype around an IPO.
Well, this whole IPO thing seems like a very complex game.
It is. It's like a roller coaster ride with ups and downs. So a good understanding is definitely helpful to navigate it better.
Right. So any other key things we should know about this IPO?
Well, the IPO proceeds will also be used to pay off debt and other general corporate purposes, which is a good sign as it strengthens the company's financial health.
So basically reducing debt and setting up for future growth.
Exactly. It's like laying down a solid foundation for their future expansion and operations.
Okay, so if someone wanted to invest, what's the final date and timing?
The bidding ends today. So they've got until 5 p.m. and the shares are scheduled to list next week on January 7th.
Right, So any final thoughts on this Indo Farm IPO?
Well, it seems like a potentially good investment for those with a long-term perspective and are willing to accept a moderate level of risk. But Of course, it all comes down to individual investment goals.
So, it's a mix of high potential and calculated risk.
Yes, and it will be interesting to see how the stock performs once it's actually listed. I mean, will the gray market premium translate to strong listing gains?
Yeah, indeed. So, something to keep an eye on next week, I guess.
For sure. And it also makes one wonder, what's the next big IPO going to be?